The great lock-in, the great lock-in, the great lock-in. Everyone has been talking about it, so let's get into it. The great lock-in is basically from September to December. It's September 7th. I just feel like it's not too late. I know how discouraging it can be when it's like, oh, everyone's locking in September to December, but we're already a week into September, so I'm too late. No, it's not too late. I'm telling you guys now, we're only 1 week in. It's not too late to get started. So get your notepad out, sit down with me in this video and set your goals while we're talking, and let's lock in for the rest of the year. The great lock-in is all about building habits that you want to take with you into the new year rather than waiting until New Year's Day to set your resolutions. Honestly, I love this idea. It kind of reminds me of last year when we had the winter arc trend, but I feel like that was very heavily focused on the gym. So I love this great lock-in because you choose some of the aspects of your life. So in this video, I'm going to break down some tips and tricks on how to set your rules for the great lock-in, and I'm also going to talk you guys through what my rules are. I'm just excited to lock in and become the best version of ourselves by the end of this year. So let's get straight into it. So the great lock-in is all about focus. It's about building discipline. It's about being consistent and building those healthy habits so that you're going into the new year prepared rather than trying to start like your life then, basically. I love this concept because I feel like, especially the last few months of the year, when it's winter, when it gets dark, when all the holidays start, like from Halloween all the way until New Year's, there's loads of like holiday weekends. So I think this is a great way to kind of stay on track, stay focused, and be disciplined enough to make progress. I think it's really easy to kind of let yourself go in the last quarter of the year, which is not even a bad thing. It's more like we let the enjoyment take over and less of the discipline. And I'm all about balance, so I'm definitely not shaming anyone here. I just think that this great lock-in, the rules here are just a good way to kind of stay on track. And the whole idea of the great lock-in is that you can just continue these habits when it's January 1st rather than trying to start new habits on that day. Because in all honesty, it can feel quite overwhelming. Like, you know, January 1st, everyone's ready to start these new habits, and then by the end of the first week of the year, it's like we've all gone back to our old ways. So I think this is a great way to build your new habits without like the pressure of New Year's. So you might say this all sounds great, but how do I actually stick to my word this time? Let me give you some tips on how to lock in for the rest of this year. First things first, keep it simple. This is so important because if you make a list of 20 rules, you're bound to like fail. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. So I would say choose 2 or 3 key areas of your life that you want to focus on, and then create like 1 or 2 rules per key area. So for example, me, I'm choosing to focus on health, I'm choosing to focus on my faith, and I'm choosing to focus on my career. And I'll talk you guys through my rules later in this video, but those are kind of the 3 key areas that I'm focusing on. If you're struggling to kind of pick which area to focus on, think about what's your priority. What are you trying to get out of this challenge? What do you want to take into the new year on New Year's Day? So think about those things and pick your key areas based on that. And then, like I said, keep it simple. Keep it short and simple. I would say definitely stay under 10 rules. If you can, 5 rules would be perfect, but I think between 5 to 10 rules is perfect, depending on how difficult they are, of course. Number 2 is keep it realistic. Let's be real. I think when we sit down to set our goals, whether that's on New Year's Day, whether it's at the start of the great lock-in, we can get so excited because, you know, we're feeling motivated, we're ready to go. But don't base your rules or your goals on your feelings, because right now you feel motivated, but you're not going to feel motivated when it's 5 a.m. and you have to go to the gym. So let's stick to rules that are realistic and start small. If you've barely been to the gym lately, don't set a rule for yourself where you're going to go to the gym 5 times a week, because you're not going to stick to that. So start small, do 2 times a week or 3 times a week, and then see how it goes the first month or the first 2 months. You can always change your goals. And I do want to emphasize, guys, these are just personal rules or goals that you set for yourself. It's not the end of the world if you feel like this rule was a bit unrealistic. Please go ahead and adjust it. Don't give up, just adjust the rule. But in order to prevent that, I would say start small and be realistic. Start with doing 5,000 steps a day, because I know there's this whole thing about you should do 10,000 steps a day. I'll be honest with you guys, I work 9 to 5, I work from home, so I'm set at my desk all day. And then especially in the winter where I live in the UK, it gets dark at like 4 p.m. It's just not very safe for me as a young girl by myself to go out in the streets at night, walk for 2 hours to get 10,000 steps in. So I would say look at your lifestyle, look at what's realistic for you in your day-to-day, and base your goals and your rules off that. The key thing here is that progress is more important than perfection. Let's stick to a goal, make it realistic, and start small. Another thing, I know I'm using the gym a lot as an example, but I really find that when I set a goal for myself, like for example, going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, I try to get those workouts in during the week rather than a weekend, because I know that things always come up on a weekend, right? However, when I do have a weekend where I don't have anything else to do and I've already been to the gym 3 times, I'm much more likely to get an extra workout in. So it's a lot better to do that than to set a super high unrealistic goal for yourself and then get discouraged when you don't make it. Tip number 3 is start with a goal and then break it down into tasks or rules. You want to lose 20 kg by the end of the lock-in? Then break it down. Say every month I want to lose 5 kg. And that's kind of how you need to break down your goals to make them a bit more realistic. It needs to be achievable in your mind, because when I think, oh, I need to lose 20 kg, it sounds impossible. But when you think, oh, I only need to lose 5 kg, it makes it a lot easier. And then when you've achieved that first 5 kg, it's gonna make you feel so good as well. And that good feeling in itself is gonna make you motivated to keep going. Let's say you wanna read more. I wanna read 4 books by the end of this great lock-in. That's 1 book a month. You can break it down even further. You can say, I wanna read 10 pages every day. So that's kind of a way to break things down and make them a bit more achievable in your mind. Number 4, now this is a thing that I saw on another girl's TikTok. She did a TikTok on the Great Lock-In. I don't remember what her name is, but I'll find it for you guys and I'll link it in the description box down below, because her TikTok on the Great Lock-In was really good. What she said is never miss twice. This means that if you miss a day, fine. It's almost inevitable to happen. 4 months is a long time, first of all. It's a third of a year. So it's a long time and life happens. Things come up. Sometimes things don't go as planned. You might miss a workout. You might get ill. You might, get bored of a book or whatever it is. Life happens. Things happen. Emergencies happen. So you really need to stay flexible and you need to remind yourself, never miss twice. This means that if you do miss a day, make sure to lock back in the next day. Don't let that day turn into a week or turn into a month. I always fall into this trap. For example, I usually go to the gym on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now, if I miss a Monday, I don't even go on Tuesday. I just wait for the next gym day. And I always do this. Now, let's say I miss a Wednesday. That means I've only gone to the gym on Monday and on Friday. There's a whole 3 days in between there that I don't do anything. And then again, if I miss a Friday, I don't go to the gym from Wednesday up until the next Monday. It's really important to never miss twice. If you skip a day, it's fine. Don't beat yourself up for it. Just make sure you pick yourself back up again. By the way, I've got my notes here on my iPad, so if you see me looking down, that's why. But tip number 5 is to make good habits easier and bad ones harder. This is actually straight out of the book Atomic Habits. If you haven't read this book, I promise you, you will get so much out of this. I read it a few years ago, but I actually want to read it again because it's one of the best self-help books out there, because it is so practical. It really gives you practical advice that you can apply to your life straight away. Like, whilst I was reading the book, I was already applying some of the stuff before I even finished it. So this is a book that you should definitely read once in your life at least. But this book is really all about habits and how to build good habits. And one of the things the author says is that you should make good habits easier for yourself and make bad habits harder. So for example, I know I use the gym a lot as an example, but anyways, you want to start going to the gym in the mornings, have your outfit ready the night before. If you want to go to the gyms after work, like for me, for example, I work from home, really, I should start to wear my workout clothes throughout the day already. And then after I finish work, I can just get up and go straight away. But also, making bad habits harder is all about creating a bit of friction when trying to do a bad habit. For example, ordering takeout. Delete Uber Eats, delete Deliveroo. I actually used to do this for a while. I did download them again, but I'm actually gonna delete them again because it helped so much. Just the fact that I didn't have instant access to the apps. Another thing that I did this with was Amazon. Amazon probably had the biggest impact because I'm someone that if I think of something, I will straight away go to Amazon and order. And I really realized that when I removed the app off my phone, I would write it down in my notes, and then sometimes I wouldn't look back at it. And then I realized, did I really need that? Probably not. If you want to reduce your spending, for example, delete all your shopping apps. Shein, Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing, Amazon, ASOS. Delete all the apps on your phone that make you want to spend money. Number 6 is to track your progress. Now this one is really important, and it's one that I actually need to get better at as well. You can do this by, having a visual calendar, physical calendar, maybe a whiteboard, or maybe even something like this, a daily planner where you can kind of just tick those things. So I've got this daily planner from Productivity Method by Grace Beverly. I actually got this a few weeks ago, so I've not used it that much yet, but I do really like it. I really like it. It's a day by day kind of layout, so this is all one day. So it really helps me to sit down in the morning or the night before and plan out my day here, have like my to-do tasks, and I love how it's broken down by less than 5 minutes, between 5 to 30 minutes, and over 30 minutes, because that really helps you to visualize like how much you have to get done. But they also have some trackers here. It has the hours of sleep, glasses of water, step goal, super greens, and a workout of the day. And then you have a notes section as well where you can just, if there's anything else that you want to track. So you can either use a planner to track your progress, you can use a whiteboard. I think I'm going to use my whiteboard. You can use a calendar. You can even just use the notes app in your phone. It's really whatever works best for you. It's just important that you track your progress so that, you have something to look back on. My last tip, and it's kind of a reiteration of everything else that I've mentioned, but it is to think long term. Don't just think about this as a challenge. Think about your long-term goals of things that you want to achieve in 2026, routines that you want to keep in 2026, habits that you want to build. Think about that and start preparing for it now. So here are my rules from September to December. I know it looks like a lot, but that's because I wrote the tips there before. But I've actually got 6 rules. Number 1, work out 3 times a week. For the past few months, I've been trying to work out 3 times a week. There are weeks where I hit that goal and some weeks I don't. As you guys know, I have endometriosis, so whenever I'm on my period, the gym just kind of falls to the background. And I really want to try my best to obviously give myself grace, but also plan around my period. Day 1 and day 2, I probably won't go to the gym. But that's just 2 days. So I really want to try to make sure that I do stay active throughout the rest of the week and hit those 3 times a week. Number 2 is 5,000 steps daily. Now this one, I'll be so real with you guys. It's gonna be so hard for me because, for example, a day like today, it is now 9:30 p.m. I've not left my house. I've been working from 9 to 5. I cooked dinner, I showered, and then I'm here filming a video now. It's now almost too late to go outside and go for a walk because it's dark, and again, I'm just a girl. I don't want to get attacked, so it's just not safe. However, I do have a gym in my building, so if I can't get outdoor walks in, I'll need to go downstairs and get 5,000 steps in. So number 3 has to do with faith. Studying 1 gospel per month, because I really want to focus more on Bible study. I want to do more Bible study. I want to go to the church more often. So I was going to say I want to do more Bible study, right? But that's just a bit too broad. I saw this TikTok about the Gospels, and then I thought, wait, the Great Lock-In has 4 months. The Gospels are 4 books. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to study 1 gospel per month. Now today's September 2nd, so I'm going to actually start with Matthew, and then I'm going to do Mark, Luke, and John. I think this is good because it gives me a bit more like excitement. Sometimes it can just feel a bit, I don't want to say boring, but it does feel a bit boring to just read the Bible chronologically, which is what I've been doing. Not chronologically, sorry. I read the New Testament and I'm now reading the Old Testament, but it's quite hard to just read it as a book, right? So I think focusing on 1 book of the Bible, 1 gospel every month will give me a bit more structure in my Bible study. Rule number 4 is film a YouTube video every Saturday. This needs to be a non-negotiable for me because, as you guys know, I'm now back on YouTube and I want to be consistent with my weekly uploads every Sunday. So I want to be able to not just film every Saturday, but also batch create content so that I have a bit of a backlog of videos that I can upload ahead of time. Because right now what I've noticed is I'll film a video and then I'll leave it till the last minute to edit the video on Saturday night, and then I'm like, there's technical difficulties, there's this, there's that, and then my uploads are late. So what I want to get in the habit of is film on Saturday, but not film for the next day, film for the next week. Rule number 5, no takeaways on weekdays. I don't have to explain this too much, but I eat outside a lot and it's just, it's not great. It's not great. And I feel like my friends and I are just big bags. We love good food. It's really tempting to just eat outside, or sometimes it's just even out of convenience, right? Like, if I go into town to run some errands, I'll just go to Mackey's quickly. Just quickly have like a double cheeseburger or something like that. So I really want to get in the habit of no takeaways, no cheat meals from Monday to Friday. Just cook food at home. And then last but not least, I really want to read more. So I've said to myself, I'm going to read 4 books during this great lock-in, which is 1 book a month. I think that's very reasonable. I just need to replace my Netflix time by my reading time. I want to share with you guys some of the books that I'm going to read. And I've already started on this book. This book is called Working Hard, Hardly Working. This is also by Grace Beverly, the same girl that made this planner. And it's meant to be really good. It's pretty good so far, so I'm excited to finish this. It's not a thick book at all. It has about 200 pages. When I said earlier, you can break it down into smaller chunks. So for example, I could say I want to read 10 pages a day. If I read 10 pages a day in 1 month, this book will be done. Then I also have this book. It's called The 12-Week Year. Now the reason I want to read this book is because obviously the Great Lock-in, it's not actually, this is actually 3 months, but it's like the same concept. This book basically breaks down the year into quarters, but it's telling you to plan for the quarter. Don't plan for the year. Don't set goals for the entire year. And it's really good because what it says is get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. That's exactly what this book is about. So I did start it, but I didn't actually finish it. So that's why it's on my list for this great lock-in. And then I have this book, which is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, the other day at church, they mentioned this book, and I've also had it in my Amazon basket for a very long time. So that's why I want to read it. I also work in sales, so I just think this is a good book to read for me anyways, to improve my skills as a sales executive. And then the 4th book, I'm kind of unsure about yet. I'm either going to reread Atomic Habits. I also have a book that I've started but not finished yet called The Courage to Be Disliked. It's on my Kindle. And then I'm also leaving it open because sometimes I can get stuck in a rut with these self-help books. So I like reading fiction books in between just to get me excited about reading again, because I feel like reading a lot of self-help books, it can get very boring. So I like to mix it up with fiction books as well. So those are my rules for the great lock-in. Now I want to know what yours are. Let me know in the comments down below because I would love to get some inspiration. Like I said, you guys, this is all about focus, discipline, and consistency. It's about making progress, creating routines, and building good habits. Don't beat yourself up if you miss a day. Don't feel like you have to change your life overnight. Like I said, keep it realistic, keep it simple, and just have fun. Enjoy the process. Remember, your potential is at the end of this great lock-in. Comment down below what your top 3 things are that you want to lock into, and let's hold each other accountable. I'll probably be sharing updates on my progress within like the next few months during like my vlogs here and there. Remember, the great lock-in is not about being perfect. It's all about showing up for yourself, being consistent, and being the best version of yourself. So let's lock in together, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give this a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lillian's Egg Guy if you want to stay updated on my lock-in progress. And let's smash our goals for the next few months. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!